My name is Olivia Holloway. I'm 28. 3 months ago, my parents looked me in the eye and handed me a house that was literally falling apart. Cracked walls, rotting floors, no running water, while my twin sister Meredith got a brand new luxury apartment downtown. I didn't argue. I took the rusty keys, drove 40 minutes into the country, and I rebuilt that ruin with my own two hands. Every nail, every board, every coat of paint. I poured $12,000 and 400 hours of sweat into it. And when my mother finally saw what I'd created, she didn't say she was proud. She said, "We're taking this house back. It belongs to your sister now. You have 48 hours." When Meredith arrived with her moving boxes, the color drained from her face. Before I tell you what happened, please take a moment to like and subscribe, but only if this story truly speaks to you. And drop your location and your local time in the comments. I want to know where you're listening from tonight. Now, let me take you back to a Friday evening in March, the night my father handed me a set of rusty keys and told me to be grateful. It starts at my parents' dining table. The same mahogany table where every important family announcement has been made since I was 6 years old. My father, Gerald, is standing at the head. He's 58, retired bank branch manager, and he runs this house the way he ran his office. Nobody speaks until he's finished. My mother, Diane, is beside him, hands folded, smiling the kind of smile that's been rehearsed. And across from me sits Meredith, my twin, my mirror image, my parents' favorite. "We've decided," Gerald says, "to give you girls a head start." He slides 2 envelopes across the table, one thick, one thin. Meredith opens hers first. Inside, a brass key and a printed lease agreement for a 2-bedroom apartment in the Lakeview district downtown. Market value, somewhere around $280,000. She screams. She actually screams. Diane pulls her into a hug, and for a moment the whole room is just the two of them, laughing, rocking. I open mine, a single key, brown with rust, a scrap of paper with an address I don't recognize. I look at my father. "What is this?" "It needs some work," he says, "but you're handy." That's it. That's what he gives me. Not a hug, not an explanation, just, "You're handy." I look at my mother. She won't meet my eyes. She's still holding Meredith. And Meredith, my twin sister who shared a womb with me, tilts her head and says, "At least you got something, Liv." She says it softly, like she's being kind, but the corner of her mouth twitches, and I know that twitch. It's not sympathy, it's satisfaction. I fold the paper and slide it into my pocket. I don't say a word. I should have, but I don't. I didn't know it then, but Gerald had deliberately chosen the worst property on my grandmother's old land registry. He'd scrolled past 4 decent options to find the one most likely to break me. Saturday morning. I drive 40 minutes west on Route 9, past the strip malls, past the last gas station, into a stretch of road where the houses thin out and the trees press closer. The address leads me down a gravel path. And when I see it, I stop the car and just sit there. The roof sags on the left side like a broken shoulder. 2 of the front windows are shattered, stuffed with plastic sheeting that's gone yellow. The porch steps are half collapsed. Waist-high weeds swallow the yard, and the whole structure leans slightly east, as if it's tired of standing. The smell hits me before I even open the door. Mildew, rot, something animal. Inside, exposed wiring hanging from the ceiling, rusted pipes, a kitchen floor so warped it buckles under my boot. I sit on the porch, the one step that holds me. I call Marcus Webb, 30 years old, real estate attorney, and the only person who's never lied to me. We met freshman year of college. He's the kind of friend who shows up at 2 in the morning and doesn't ask why. "How bad?" he says. "Roof's caving, wiring's exposed, no running water." He's quiet for a second. "You want me to look at the deed?" "Not yet." My voice cracks and I hate it. "I just need a minute." He gives me the minute. He gives me 5. I hang up and stare at the house, and I think about my grandmother, Lorraine. When I was 9, she taught me to build a bookshelf in her garage. She put my hands on the wood and said, "Your hands know things your head hasn't figured out yet." That phone call with Marcus, I didn't know it then, would end up saving everything. I sit in my truck that night with a notebook and a calculator. Roof, $8,000. Floors, $5,000. Plumbing, 6. Electrical, 7. Paint, drywall, fixtures, another 9. Total estimate, $35,000. My savings account, $12,411. I close the notebook, open it again, start crossing things out. What can I do myself? Floors? Yes. Drywall? Yes. Paint? Obviously. Cabinets? Trim? Built-ins? That's literally my job. I'm a carpenter, a furniture restorer. I've been working with wood since I was 16 and I'm good at it. But my family has never once called it a career. To them, I'm the twin who sands chairs in a sad little workshop while Meredith wears blazers. Monday morning, Meredith calls. Her voice drips with that particular sweetness she uses when she's about to say something cruel. "Oh, sweetie, are you really going to live there?" "It's mine. I'll make it work." "You could just sell it, get a little apartment somewhere." I said I'll make it work. A pause. Then, "Okay, Liv. Good luck with that." That afternoon, Diane texts, "Don't waste your savings, Olivia. Your father knows best." I don't reply. I drive to the hardware store and buy 200 pounds of lumber. The first week, I tear out the rotted kitchen floor on my hands and knees. I haul debris to a rented dumpster. A woman from next door, Ruth, 65 with reading glasses and a no-nonsense jaw, leans over the fence and watches. "Lot of work?" she says. "Yeah." She brings me a pitcher of ice water without being asked. Then she says something that sticks. "This land used to belong to Lorraine Price. She your grandma?" I stare at her. "Yes, but how do you know that?" Ruth shrugs. "I've lived here 30 years, honey. I know who owned what." I file that away. I don't understand it yet, but I file it. 6 weeks in, my savings are gone. Not low. Gone. Every dollar I had is now embedded in the bones of this house. New subfloor, fresh drywall, a repaired roof that no longer leaks when it rains. The kitchen has cabinets I designed and built myself, white oak with dovetail joints. The living room wall that was crumbling is now smooth, painted warm white, and if you press your hand against it, it's solid. But the electrical system is a problem. The original wiring is knob and tube from the 60s. I've replaced what I can reach, but the panel needs a licensed electrician. That's $3,000 to $5,000 I don't have. So I run temporary wiring through conduit. It's safe for now. It passes a visual check, but it's not permanent. I write it down in my project notebook, underlined twice. Electrical. Priority. Get licensed electrician, ASAP. I pick up freelance work at night, custom cutting boards, a reclaimed wood dining table for a couple in the next town, $60 here, $90 there. It's not enough, but it keeps the lights on. Literally. Then Gerald shows up. No call, no text. He just appears in the doorway one Tuesday afternoon, hands in his pockets, looking around like a landlord inspecting a rental. He walks through the living room, runs his finger across the mantel I restored from the original fireplace surround, opens a cabinet door, lets it swing, doesn't say nice work, doesn't say anything for a full minute. Then, "Not bad." I wait for more. "But don't get too attached." I feel my stomach drop. What does that mean? He looks at me. Flat. Unreadable. I said what I said. He leaves. From the window I watch him drive away, and I notice something I wish I hadn't. The way he looked at the house wasn't pride. It was appraisal. 2 days later, I stop by Meredith's apartment to pick up a drill I lent her months ago. She says she's busy, can't come to the door. Leave it on the mat, she'll find it later. But I'm already in the hallway, and I see what's stacked outside her door. 11 Amazon packages. Not small ones. Shoeboxes, garment bags, a flat-screen TV still sealed in foam. The packages are piled so high they block the welcome mat. I knock again. "Mayor, I just need the drill." "I said I'm busy, Olivia." Her voice sounds thin, stretched. I step back, and through the gap beneath her door, I can see the living room light flickering. She's watching television at 2 in the afternoon on a workday. Then I hear her phone ring inside. She picks up, and her voice drops to that specific whisper people use when they don't want the walls to hear. "Mom, I just need a little more time. The credit card company keeps calling." Pause. "No, I haven't told him. Please don't tell Dad." And then my mother's voice, tinny through the speaker. "We'll figure it out, sweetheart. Don't tell your father." I stand in that hallway for 10 seconds. Then I leave. Quietly. I don't say anything to anyone. It's not my business. That's what I tell myself. But in the truck, a memory hits me. I'm 16. I catch Meredith pulling bills from our grandmother Lorraine's purse in the kitchen. A 20. A 50. Lorraine is napping in the next room. I tell Gerald that evening. He turns on me. Not her. Me. "Stop making up stories about your sister." I learned something that night. In this family, the truth only counts when it comes from the right daughter. Now I'm starting to wonder, how much does Meredith actually owe? And what happens when Gerald finds out? 10 weeks after I started, the house is almost unrecognizable. New floors, new walls, a kitchen that looks like something out of a design magazine because I built every inch of it. I post a few photos on Instagram. Before and afters. My hands on the timber. The sunrise through the new windows. Comments pour in from friends, old classmates, strangers. "Incredible. You did this yourself?" This is goals. It feels like the first applause I've ever gotten from anyone who isn't Marcus. Then Thursday evening, no warning. Gerald's car pulls into my driveway. Diane in the passenger seat. They walk in through the front door like they still own the place. Diane drifts through the rooms. She touches the walls, opens the kitchen cabinets, runs her palm across the countertop I sanded and sealed myself. She doesn't comment. She catalogs. Gerald plants himself in the center of the living room. "Your mother and I have been talking." My chest tightens. About what? "Meredith needs this house." The room tilts. "Excuse me?" Diane from the hallway. "Her apartment. There were complications. She can't stay there anymore." I look at my father. "What kind of complications?" Gerald ignores the question. "The deed is still in my name, Olivia. This house belongs to me. You have 48 hours to move out." My hands are shaking. I press them flat against the counter. My counter. "I rebuilt this house. Every wall. Every floor. With my property," Gerald says. "On my land. My decision." Diane steps closer, voice soft, practiced. "We'll make it up to you, honey. This is what's best for the family." I stare at them both. My mother who won't look at me. My father who's already decided. I don't cry. I don't shout. I say 5 words. I need to make a phone call. 11 p.m. I'm sitting on the kitchen floor I installed 6 weeks ago, back against the cabinets I built, calling the one person who's never made me feel small. Marcus picks up on the first ring. What happened? I tell him everything. Gerald's visit, the 48 hours. Meredith needs this house, my land, my decision. Marcus is quiet for 3 seconds. When he speaks, his voice is flat and precise, his lawyer voice. "Is the deed in his name?" "He says it is. He never let me see the paperwork." "Did you ever receive a copy? A transfer document? Anything notarized?" "No, he said he'd handle it." "That's the first problem." A pause. "The second? Who actually owns the land?" Something clicks in my head. Ruth's voice. "This land used to belong to Lorraine Price, my grandmother, my father's mother." "Marcus, my neighbor told me this land used to belong to my grandmother." "Used to? Or still does?" I don't know." "Give me 24 hours, he says. "Don't sign anything. Don't move anything. Don't respond to your father. Can you do that?" I wasn't planning to. "Good. And Olivia?" "Yeah? I've been waiting for you to let me help." His voice cracks just slightly on the word, waiting. And I realize, he's been watching me carry this alone for 10 weeks. He asked me about the deed the very first day. I waved him off. I told myself I didn't need a lawyer. I told myself family would work it out. I was wrong. I hang up. At 12:30 a.m., my phone buzzes. "Gerald. Clock is ticking, Olivia. Don't make this harder than it needs to be." I read the text. I don't reply. For the first time in 28 years, I choose not to make it easier for him. By 9 the next morning, my phone has 17 unread messages. Diane, please don't do this to our family. Just let Meredith have the house. We'll make it up to you somehow. Meredith, Liv, I really need this. I'm in a bad place right now. Please. Aunt Carol, my mother's younger sister, your mother is in tears. How can you be so selfish, Olivia? A cousin I haven't spoken to in 2 years. Family first. Don't be that person. They've activated the phone tree, the entire network mobilized in 12 hours. And the message is unanimous. Olivia is the problem. Gerald calls at 10. His voice is cold, controlled. The voice of a man who has never once lost an argument in his own house. If you fight this, you won't just lose the house. You'll lose your family. I hold the phone away from my ear and stare at the screen. Then I set it face down on the workbench and pick up a chisel. I'm in my workshop. The small one I rent behind the hardware store on 5th Street. It smells like sawdust and linseed oil, the two best smells in the world. I run my thumb along the edge of a hand-carved chisel my grandmother Lorraine gave me when I turned 18. And I talk to you, because I need someone to hear this. My whole life, I was taught that family is everything, that you sacrifice, that you bend, that you make room. But no one ever taught me that family can also be the people who use love as a weapon, who wrap control in the word sacrifice, who hand you a pile of rust and call it a gift. Then a notification pops up. It's in the family group chat. Aunt Carol, clearly meaning to text Diane privately, has sent a message to everyone. Diane says Meredith owes over $60,000 in credit cards. Gerald doesn't know yet. What do we do? I screenshot it, and I save it. Marcus calls at 4 that afternoon. He doesn't say hello. Olivia, the land was never in Gerald's name. I set down my sander. What? It's held in a trust, a revocable living trust, established in 2012. The trustee and grantor is Lorraine Price, your grandmother. My skin goes cold. That's not, Gerald told me he owned. Gerald lied. Or he assumed. Either way, the county recorder's office has no deed transfer to Gerald Holloway. The land, and any structures on it, belong to the trust. And the sole listed beneficiary, he pauses, is you. I sit down on the workshop floor. Me? You. I haven't spoken to my grandmother in almost 2 years. Not by choice. Gerald told me she was getting confused, that calling her would only stress her out. He said it so many times I stopped questioning it. I stopped calling. I dial her number with shaking hands. It rings 4 times. Hello? Her voice is thinner than I remember, but steady. Grandma? It's Olivia. Silence. 1 beat. 2. I was waiting for this call, sweetheart. I can't breathe. I tell her what Gerald did. The house, the renovation, the 48 hours. All of it, rushing out of me like a dam breaking. She listens without interrupting. When I finish, she says, I set up that trust for you, not for your father, not for Meredith, for you, the year you turned 18, because I saw how they treated you, baby. I saw it, and I planned for it. I'm crying now. I don't try to stop. I'm old, Olivia, but I'm not gone yet, and that land is yours. I wipe my face. Grandma, thank you. I don't even know what to. There's one more thing I need to tell you, she says, but not on the phone. I'm coming to see you. She hangs up before I can argue. The next evening, Marcus sits at my kitchen table, the one I built from reclaimed pine, and spreads out 3 stacks of paper. Stack 1, the trust deed. Lorraine Price established a revocable living trust in 2012, naming herself as trustee and me as sole beneficiary. The trust holds the property at this address, the land and any improvements on it. It's been notarized, recorded with the county, and it's airtight. Stack 2, every building permit, every contractor receipt, every material invoice from the last 10 weeks, all of them are in my name. When I pulled permits from the city, I signed as Olivia Holloway, property occupant and trust beneficiary. The city approved them, not Gerald, me. Stack 3, a screenshot of Aunt Carol's misfired text. Meredith owes over $60,000 in credit cards. Gerald doesn't know yet. Marcus taps the trust deed. Your father has no legal claim. He can't transfer what he doesn't own. He can't evict you from your own property. So the 48 hours? Is a bluff, a loud one, but still a bluff. I exhale. It's the first full breath I've taken in 2 days. So, what do we do? Marcus leans back. Nothing yet. We wait for them to make their move publicly, then we respond. Why publicly? Because your father built this lie in front of the family. He told everyone this was his house, his land, his decision. That lie needs to fall in front of the same audience. I look at the papers, the trust deed, the permits, the receipts. For 10 weeks I've been building this house thinking I was powerless, but the whole time the power was right here. I just didn't know it. Marcus stands. At the door he turns. One thing, that temporary wiring you mentioned, get it fixed or documented. Everything in this house needs to be clean. I nod. I write it in my notebook. But I don't call the electrician yet. There's no time. Because what Aunt Carol tells me next changes everything. The phone rings at 8 the next morning. It's Aunt Carol. Her voice is low, rushed, the voice of someone calling from a bathroom with the faucet running. Olivia, listen to me. Your mother is planning a housewarming party. A housewarming. Tomorrow, at your house. She's invited 20 people. I grip the edge of the counter. A housewarming party. For Meredith. At the house I built with my own hands. She's telling everyone you agreed to it, that you're happy to give Meredith the house, that it was your idea. Something cold settles in my chest. Not anger, not yet. Something quieter. Something that's been building for 28 years. Carol, why are you telling me this? She hesitates. Because I sent that text by accident, and now your mother won't speak to me. And because I've watched this family punish you for being easy to punish. It's not right. It never was. I hang up and call Marcus. 2 words. It's tomorrow. I'll be there. No hesitation. And so will your grandmother. She's 78, Marcus. She lives 3 hours away. She's already on her way. She called me this morning. My grandmother, 78 years old, bad hip, drives a Buick older than I am, and she's already on the road. That night, I sit in my workshop. I run a sheet of fine grit sandpaper over a scrap of walnut, back and forth. The rhythm steadies my pulse. You know that feeling when your entire family constructs a story about you? A story where you're the selfish one, the unreasonable one, the one who's tearing everything apart, and then they invite an audience to watch you play your part? I set my alarm for 6 a.m. Tomorrow I walk into my own house. Either for the last time, or the first. I arrive at 9. The front door, my front door, the one I stripped, sanded, and restained by hand, is propped open with a doorstop I've never seen before. Inside the house is unrecognizable in a different way now. Diane has been here since dawn. New throw pillows on the couch, a tablecloth I didn't buy, platters of food covering the countertops I installed, and hanging from the living room archway, in pink and gold balloons and a glitter banner. Welcome home, Meredith. 20 people fill the rooms. Aunts, uncles, cousins, Diane's book club friends, 3 neighbors I've waved to but never met. They're all holding paper plates and plastic cups, chatting like this is perfectly normal, like this is a celebration. Meredith stands in the center of the living room, hair blown out, new dress. She's laughing. Gerald has his hand on her shoulder, proud father pose, chest out. He sees me in the doorway. His voice carries across the room. Olivia came to congratulate her sister. That's what family does. Every head turns. 20 smiles aimed at me. I feel them like heat lamps. Diane appears at my elbow with a glass of lemonade. Be gracious, honey. This is hard for all of us. Great Aunt Margaret, Gerald's older sister, pats my arm. Such a generous thing you did, Olivia, giving your sister this beautiful house. I look at her. I didn't give anyone anything. The pats stop. Margaret blinks. Gerald's voice drops. Low. A warning. Olivia, not here. Meredith glides over, voice silk. Liv, we talked about this. It's for the best. I look around the room. 20 pairs of eyes. Not one of them knows the truth. And every single one of them is looking at me like I'm the villain. Outside the window I catch a glimpse of Ruth. She's standing on her porch, watching through the glass, slowly shaking her head. It happens in the kitchen. My kitchen. Meredith follows me in, and the moment we're out of earshot, the mask falls off. You should thank me, honestly. I turn around. For what? For giving you a reason to finally do something with your life. She leans against the island I built from scratch, white oak and brass hardware, and examines her nails. You'd still be sanding chairs in that sad little workshop if it wasn't for me. My jaw tightens. I built this kitchen, Meredith, these cabinets, that island, with my hands. And now they're mine. She says it like she's reading a weather report. That's how it works in this family, Liv. I thought you understood that by now. She opens a cabinet. Inside, Diane's casserole dishes, Diane's serving bowls, already unpacked, already at home. Meredith pulls out a glass, fills it from the faucet I connected. Drinks. Looks at me over the rim. Dad said you can take your tools when you leave. I don't need them. She walks back into the living room. I hear Gerald's voice rise over the noise. If I could have everyone's attention, please. I follow her out. Gerald is standing by the fireplace, the surround I restored from the original 1967 woodwork, raising a glass. To family, he says, and to Meredith's beautiful new home. 20 glasses lift, 20 voices repeat it. To Meredith. I stand in the back of the room. My hands are fists at my sides. My throat is burning. But I don't say a word. Not yet. I'm listening for something. A knock at the door. A car pulling into the driveway. Any second now. I know. I know some of you are screaming at your screens right now. Trust me, I was screaming inside too. But here's the thing. If you've ever been the one your family took for granted, the one they expected to just go along with it, drop a fire in the comments. And if you want to see what happened when I finally stopped being silent, make sure you're subscribed. Because it's coming. Gerald is mid-sentence. Something about sacrifice. Something about what it means to provide for your children. When the knock comes. 3 sharp raps. Firm. Professional. Gerald frowns. Diane glances at the door. Nobody moves. I do. I cross the room and open the front door. Marcus stands on the porch, gray suit, leather briefcase. His face is calm, but I can see the edge in his posture. Coiled. Ready. He nods at me once. Behind him, moving slowly up the porch steps, gripping a carved wooden cane with both hands, is my grandmother, Lorraine Price, 78 years old. Silver hair pinned back, eyes sharp enough to cut glass. Gerald's voice from behind me. Who invited you? Marcus steps inside. No one. I'm Ms. Holloway's legal counsel. She doesn't need a lawyer, Gerald says. This is a family matter. With respect, Mr. Holloway. Marcus sets his briefcase on the dining table. Property transfer is a legal matter. The room goes still. 20 people holding plates and cups, frozen mid-bite. Meredith's smile dissolves. Then Lorraine walks in. I take her arm. She pats my hand without looking at me. Her eyes are locked on Gerald. She surveys the room slowly. The balloons, the banner, the food on counters that Olivia built. She reads the glitter letters. Welcome home, Meredith. She turns to Gerald. The room holds its breath. She says one sentence. Quiet, clear. The kind of sentence that lands like a gavel. Gerald, whose land do you think this is? Gerald opens his mouth. Nothing comes out. Lorraine pulls out a chair, sits down, folds her hands on the table. Sit down, son. You're going to want to sit for this. Marcus opens the briefcase. The click of the latches is the loudest sound in the room. He pulls out a document. Crisp, bound, notarized. He sets it on the table so everyone can see the county seal. If I may have the room's attention. His voice isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. This property, the land and every structure on it, is held in a revocable living trust established by Lorraine Price in 2012. The sole beneficiary is Olivia Holloway. Gerald takes a step forward. That's not possible. My mother gave me... I gave you nothing, Gerald. Lorraine's voice cuts the room like a blade. She doesn't raise it. She doesn't need to. I let you use the address for mail. I let you believe what you wanted. But I never transferred the title. It was never yours. Marcus continues. Mr. Holloway, you hold no deed, no title, and no legal authority to transfer this property to anyone. Furthermore, every building permit, every contractor invoice, every material receipt for the renovations performed over the past 10 weeks is filed under Olivia Holloway's name. She is the legal owner of all improvements. The county recorder's office can verify every page. Diane, voice cracking. Mother, how could you do this to us? Lorraine looks at her daughter-in-law, steady, unblinking. I did this for Olivia, because you two couldn't. The seesaw starts. 20 people who walked in thinking this was a housewarming are now realizing they've been invited to a lie. Great Aunt Margaret turns to Gerald. Gerald, you told us this was your house. Gerald says nothing. His face is the color of raw steak. And then Lorraine adds quietly, to no one and everyone, I set up this trust the year Olivia turned 18. Because I saw how you treated her, Gerald. I saw it. And I planned ahead. For a moment, nobody breathes. Then Meredith steps forward. Her hands are shaking. Her perfect composure, the composure she's worn like armor her entire life, is cracking at the seams. This doesn't change anything. Mom and Dad said, Gerald sharp. Meredith, be quiet. No! Her voice pitches high, desperate. I need this house. I don't have anywhere else to go. The room freezes. Not whispers now. Silence, the kind that swallows sound. Gerald turns to her, slowly. What do you mean you don't have anywhere else? Meredith's eyes are wet. Her lips move before her brain catches up. The apartment. I lost it. I couldn't keep up with the payments. Gerald stares at her, then at Diane, his wife, who has been clutching a dish towel to her chest like a lifeline. You lost the apartment, Gerald says. The apartment I gave you 3 months ago. Diane's chin drops. Gerald, I was going to tell you. You knew? The room ruptures. 20 people watch as Gerald's face cycles through shock, betrayal, fury. Meredith is crying, real tears now, mascara streaking. Diane is crying too, reaching for Gerald's arm, and he pulls away like her hand is on fire. Aunt Carol stares at the floor. Great Aunt Margaret picks up her purse. I think, she says quietly, we should all go home. People start moving. Coats, keys, mumbled goodbyes. No one looks at Gerald. No one looks at Meredith. They look at me. Quick, uncertain glances. And then away. I'm standing in the corner of the room, my grandmother's hand in mine. I haven't moved. I haven't spoken. Gerald turns to me. His voice is broken glass. You planned this. I meet his eyes. No, Dad, you planned this. I just showed up. The house empties. Paper plates on the counter, half-eaten casseroles. A balloon drifts across the floor and settles against the wall. Gerald and Diane sit on the sofa, my sofa, that I reupholstered from a thrift store frame. Meredith is somewhere outside. I can hear her crying in her car through the open window. Marcus steps forward. He holds out a white envelope. Mr. Holloway, this is a formal cease and desist letter. You are not to enter this property again without Olivia's written consent. Any attempt to claim ownership, alter locks, or contact Miss Holloway with threats regarding this property will be documented and forwarded to the county district attorney's office. Gerald looks at the envelope. He doesn't take it. Marcus sets it on the coffee table. Everything is documented. The trust deed, the permits, the receipts. The law is clear. Diane turns to me. Her eyes are swollen. Olivia, please. Please what, Mom? Please give up? Please be the easy one again? Please fold so you don't have to face the mess you made? I don't say any of that. What I say is, Mom, I love you, but loving someone doesn't mean letting them take everything from you. Diane's face crumbles. Gerald stands. He doesn't look at me, doesn't look at Marcus, doesn't look at his mother. Lorraine, still seated, still holding her cane, speaks one last time. You could have been proud of her, Gerald. That would have cost you nothing. He walks out the front door without a word. Diane follows. The car starts. Gravel crunches, then it's quiet. Marcus puts a hand on my shoulder. You okay? I look around the room. The banner hangs crooked. A cup of lemonade sweats on the mantel I restored. Not yet, I say. But I will be. That evening, I changed the locks on the front door. I do it myself. 4 screws, a new deadbolt, a brass handle I've been saving for the right moment. My hands are steady. My breathing is even. It's just hardware. But it feels like drawing a line in concrete. Ruth comes over with a pot of yellow chrysanthemums. She sets it on the porch railing and looks at me through her reading glasses. I always knew that house was yours, honey. Yeah? Your grandparents built it together in '67. I was 17. I watched them carry the lumber. I hold the pot and let that settle into me. 1967. My grandparents' hands on this same frame. My grandmother's trust protecting it decades later. And now my hands finishing what theirs started. I tear down the banner, pop the balloons, sweep the floors, load the leftover food into bags for Ruth and her neighbor. And then I sit in the middle of the living room, the room I rebuilt from bare studs, in perfect silence. It's the first silence that isn't fear, it's just quiet. My phone buzzes. Marcus, get that electrical work done, Liv. Seriously, I call the electrician, schedule it for next Thursday. Then, while clearing Diane's things from the hall closet, I find something. A letter. Yellowed envelope, no stamp. Hand-delivered and hidden. The handwriting is Lorraine's. My dear Olivia, your grandfather and I built that house together in 1967, the summer we married. I always meant for it to go to someone who would love it the way we did. It was always meant for you. The letter is dated 5 years ago. Gerald hid it. 5 years of my grandmother's words, stuffed behind someone else's coats. I pressed the letter to my chest. I thought that was the end. It wasn't. Real quick. If you've ever had to draw a line with someone you love, someone who should have protected you, comment "My House" below. I read every single one. And if this story is hitting close to home for you, share it with someone who needs to hear it today. Now let me tell you what happened next. Because my family wasn't finished. The fallout isn't loud. It's slow. It's the kind of damage that spreads like water finding cracks. 1 week after the housewarming, Great-Aunt Margaret stops returning Gerald's calls. She tells Aunt Carol she's deeply embarrassed to share a last name with him. Cousin Katie, Margaret's daughter, my age, the one who always sat next to me at Thanksgiving, calls me on a Tuesday night. I always thought something was off, she says. I just didn't know what it was. Nobody asked. I know. I'm sorry no one stood up for you sooner. Gerald's position as honorary elder advisor at Grace Lutheran Church, a title he's held for 6 years, built entirely on the image of a devoted family man, quietly disappears. The pastor doesn't fire him, he simply stops calling. Gerald's name is removed from the weekly bulletin. No announcement. Just absence. Diane goes dark on Facebook. No more family photos. No more "blessed to have my girls" posts. For the first time in a decade, her profile picture is a sunset instead of a Holloway family portrait. Meredith gets her first call from a collections agency, then her second. Without Gerald and Diane running interference, $62,000 of credit card debt has her name on it. All of it. Ruth tells me something one morning over the fence. Your father came by last Tuesday, stood outside the house for 10 minutes, just looking, then he drove away. I don't know what to do with that, so I file it the way I file everything I'm not ready to feel. Then an email lands in my inbox. From a reporter at Homestead and Craft magazine. She found my renovation photos on Instagram. She wants to feature the house. She wants to know who did the work my father said wasn't a career. Gerald calls on a Thursday, early afternoon. I'm in my workshop fitting a mortise joint for a client's bookcase. His name flashes on my screen and my hands go still. I answer. We need to talk, he says. His voice is tired. Not soft. Gerald doesn't do soft. But worn, like a tool that's been used without maintenance. I'm listening. Your grandmother isn't thinking clearly. She's old. She doesn't understand what she did with that trust. I close my eyes. We should contest it, he continues. The family should have a say. I'll get a lawyer. We can... Dad, he stops. She set up that trust with her own attorney. It's been notarized, recorded, and active for over a decade. Lorraine is perfectly competent. You know that. Silence. I can hear him breathing. I'm your father, Olivia. That land should have been mine. It was never yours, Dad. I set down the chisel. And neither am I. The line goes quiet for so long I check to see if he's hung up. He hasn't. "You're making a mistake," he says finally. The same voice he used when I told him I was becoming a carpenter instead of going into banking. The same flat, dismissive tone. "No," I keep my voice even. "I made a mistake every time I believed you'd treat me fairly. That's over now." I end the call. My thumb shakes over the screen. I want to tell you it felt powerful. It didn't. It felt like pulling a splinter out of a wound that's been infected for years. Necessary, painful, and long overdue. Setting boundaries with someone you love is never the triumphant moment people think it is. It's quiet, it's lonely, and sometimes the bravest thing you can say is simply, enough. 2 weeks later, Saturday morning, I'm on the porch sealing a window frame when I hear a car pull into the gravel drive. The engine cuts, a door opens and doesn't close for a long time. Meredith walks up the path, no makeup, hair pulled back in a knot. She's wearing a sweatshirt I've never seen, gray, too big for her, the kind of thing she'd normally never be caught dead in. Her eyes are swollen. She looks 10 years older than she did at the housewarming. She stops at the bottom of the porch steps. My porch steps. The ones I rebuilt. "I'm not here to ask for the house." I set down the brush. "Then why?" "I don't know how to fix my life, Liv." Her voice is raw. No performance. No practiced sweetness. Just a woman drowning. "I owe $62,000. I haven't slept in a week. The collections people call every morning at 7. I look at my twin sister. And for the first time, I don't see the golden child. I don't see the one who always got the bigger portion, the warmer hug, the louder applause. I see someone who was handed everything and taught nothing. Someone who never learned to build because she never had to. "I can't fix that for you," I say. "And I won't." "I know. But I can give you the number of a financial counselor Marcus knows. The rest is on you." She nods, wipes her face, turns to go. At the bottom step, she stops, reaches into her bag, pulls out a small cardboard box, and sets it on the railing. "I'm sorry," she says. "For the kitchen. For all of it." I look at her. "I hear you." I don't say I forgive you, because I'm not there yet, and I don't owe anyone forgiveness on a timeline that isn't mine. After her car disappears down the gravel road, I open the box. Inside, 2 thin silver bracelets. My grandmother gave them to us when we were 8. 1 for each twin. Meredith kept both for 15 years. 1 month later, a photographer stands in my living room with a DSLR camera and a reflector board, and I think, this is the strangest thing that's ever happened to me. The reporter from Homestead and Craft is named Dana. She's in her 40s, all business, with a tape recorder and a notebook full of questions. She walks through every room, touching the trim work, crouching to examine the dovetail joints on the kitchen cabinets, running her palm along the fireplace surround. "Who did the millwork?" she asks. "I did." "And the floors?" "Me." "The cabinetry?" "Also me." She looks up from her notebook. "Who taught you to build?" I smile. "My grandmother." The article runs 3 weeks later. Title: From Ruin to Remarkable. How one woman rebuilt a 1967 home with her own hands. 4 pages, 12 photos. They use the before and after of the kitchen as the centerfold spread. Ruth appears in one of the photos. She's leaning on the fence between our yards, grinning, holding up a lemonade like a toast. Within a week, I get 3 custom furniture commissions: a dining table, a set of bookshelves, a nursery crib in white ash. My workshop finally has a name: Holloway Woodworks. I hang the sign myself. Marcus calls to congratulate me. Trust is fully recorded, title insurance is done, no one can touch it. Thank you, Marcus, for everything. That's what friends are for. A beat. Now please tell me you called the electrician. I laugh. Actually laugh. Done. Last Thursday. Full panel replacement, new wiring, inspection passed. Thank God. That weekend, I get an email from the community center downtown. They want to know if I'd teach a woodworking workshop for women. I say yes. The class fills in 3 days. Lorraine comes to stay for a week in May. She arrives in the Buick with a flat of marigolds, a bag of potting soil, and a photo album I've never seen. We plant the flowers in the front yard, side by side on our knees in the dirt, just the way she taught me to sandwood. Slow, steady, with your whole hand. She tells me this is the exact spot where she and my grandfather planted their first garden in the summer of 1967. Marigolds and zinnias, the same flowers. Your grandfather would have loved what you did with the kitchen, she says, pressing soil around a seedling. I found your letter, I tell her. The one Dad hid. She doesn't look up. I wrote 3 letters. He hid all of them. But you're here now, baby. That's what matters. 3 letters, 3 attempts to reach me. 3 times Gerald stood between us and decided I didn't deserve to hear from the woman who loved me most. We sit on the porch when the sun gets low. The porch I rebuilt. Ruth brings over a pitcher of lemonade without being asked. It's become a ritual. The new neighbors across the road, a young couple who moved in last month, wave from their driveway. I wave back. Lorraine reaches over and takes my hand. Her skin is paper thin, but her grip is iron. The best revenge isn't revenge at all, she says. It's the life you build after. I look out at the yard, the marigolds, the fresh paint, the house that was a ruin 4 months ago. I didn't receive fairness from my family, but I built it for myself, with concrete and oak and the truth. I know, Grandma. She squeezes my hand. I know. A week after Lorraine leaves, I sit down at my desk, the one I built from reclaimed cherry, the first piece of furniture I ever sold, and I write an email. Mom, Dad, I love you. That hasn't changed, but I will not accept being treated as less than. I will not be the daughter you take from to give to someone else. I will not shrink so that someone else can fill the space. If you want a relationship with me, it starts with respect, not control, not obligation, not guilt. I'm not closing the door, but I'm choosing who gets to walk through it. Olivia. I hit send. I don't get a reply. Not that day, not that week. And for the first time, I'm okay with the silence, because it's my silence now. I chose it. It wasn't pushed on me. Friday evening. I sit in the living room. The house is quiet. Through the window I can see Ruth's porch light, the marigolds in the yard, the road that leads to town, where 3 clients are waiting for furniture I designed. On my workbench, inside the top drawer, sit 2 silver bracelets, the ones Meredith returned. I don't wear them. But I haven't thrown them away either. Someday maybe they'll mean something different. But not today. I look around this room. Every surface tells a story. The floors my knees remember. The walls my arms ache from. The cabinets my grandmother's hands inspired. This isn't the house my parents gave me. That house was a ruin, a punishment, a message that said, you are worth less. This house is the one I built. And I am the one who decides what it means. I don't know what happens next with my family. But I know what happens next with me. Because for the first time in 28 years, that's my call. You know, when I started this story, I thought the house was the point. The renovation. The trust deed. The moment Gerald's face went white in front of 20 people. And yeah, that mattered. All of it mattered. But sitting here now, on this porch my grandparents built, and my hands rebuilt, I realized the house was never really the thing. The thing was the moment I stopped waiting for my family to see my worth, and started building it for myself. I spent 28 years being the easy one, the one who folds, the one who absorbs, and I told myself that was love. That keeping the peace was the same as being at peace. It's not. It's just silence with a nicer name. I won't tell you what to do with your family. I don't know your story. I don't know your Gerald or your Meredith or the specific way they've learned to make you feel small, but I will tell you 3 things I wish someone had told me a long time ago. Boundaries are not punishment. They're not walls you build to hurt people. They're doors. And you get to decide who walks through. Your hands know things your head hasn't figured out yet. My grandmother said that to me when I was 9, and I'm only now understanding what she meant. Sometimes you have to start building before you believe you can. And the last one, the hardest one. You do not owe anyone a version of yourself that makes their life more comfortable at the cost of your own. That's it. That's what the ruin taught me. Now I'm curious. If you had to pick one moment from this story that hit you the most, which was it? Was it the housewarming party, the trust deed reveal, or Meredith on the porch with that little box? Drop your answer in the comments. I read every single one, and honestly, your stories are braver than mine. If you want another one like this, there's a video in the description I think you'll love. Hit subscribe if this one meant something to you, and I'll see you next time.